Manayim shevet achim gam yachad hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad hine ma tov yalalai yalalai hine ma tov yalalai yalalai.
Let's hear it.
Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, try it again. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Oh, that was good. That was really good. All right, it's going to be a fun one tonight. The energy is really good, really good. Couple sort of housekeeping things as we get going. One, of course, we want to welcome everybody, including folks who haven't been here very much. Especially, we're going to welcome our members who make the Torah of this place possible. We want to remind congregants who are younger, who have some sensory issues, that we have our Shalom Sanctuary right behind over there, and anybody's welcome to go back there and take the moments that you need. We're going to be using Mishkan Tefillah, in case you have not been at Temple Emanu-El since 1973, okay? We're going to be using Mishkan Tefillah. So where is it? If you reach under your seat, it's right there. Magic. Lori, Todd, if you reach right under your seat, you're going to find your prayer book. All right? It's right there. If we need to leave quickly for any reason, it is good to know where the emergency exits are. This is my Stewardess impression. There, and if we need it, there. Okay? Everybody good with that? Smartphones, regular phones, Apple Watches, whatever it is, turn them off, please. All right, turn them off, and that way you're not the person who gets the call in the middle of service, because if you do get a call, I'm going to answer it, and that'll be a lot of fun, okay? Mazel tov to Asher Fink for his bar mitzvah tomorrow, and mazel tov to the Fink family. We're super excited. Introductions, Rabbi Rachel, Rabbi Max, Rabbi Spike. Take a moment or two or three. Wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. Turn around to the people around you. Hi, my name is. I haven't seen you since yesterday. There's going to be a quiz. Folks online, give us a shout. Tell us who you are. What's going on? Just hi. Shabbat Shalom. Yes, no.
shevet achim gam yachad hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad hine ma tov yalalai yalalai hine ma tov yalalai yalalai hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
So just with a show of hands, how many of you did confirmation at your synagogue when you were growing up? Okay, so a good number of you. Great. Confirmation is the continuation of one's Jewish education after bar or bat mitzvah. And at one time, there was a tremendous amount of emphasis on that within Reform synagogues, because the reality is, when you're studying Torah with a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old, there's only so much you can do. Okay, we can do something, but they can only get so deep, and that's the truth. Okay? And so the idea is, get them for another year or 2 or 3, and then you can really get deep, and they'll understand much more about who they are, their Jewish identity, exploring what it means to be part of a people, exploring the existential. So tonight, our confirmands from the year 57 and 82 are going to be leading our service, and part of what they're doing is coming up and giving us a thought in between the prayers, almost like jazz, okay? It's going to enhance the prayer, it's going to enhance the thought, enhance us all together. I posed some questions for them as part of our confirmation studies for them to pick one and to answer as part of tonight's service. So I'm going to run through a couple of the questions that I asked them, and as I'm running through, imagine if you were the one who was going to be answering this, right? So the first question I asked them is, in the quotes, "I am Jewish." The quote, "I am Jewish." What does the statement mean to you? Include in your answer ideas about history, destiny, and meaning. Second question, when I pray to God, what I think or hope happens is. These are good. 3, the Jewish community is important to me because. 4, if the whole world had to listen to what I had to say for 90 seconds, what would I want to say to the world? 5, the metaphor that best describes my belief in God is, and why? If I had to call on you right now, would you like to answer those questions? 6, the biblical character who I most identify with is, and why? And 7, the last one, confirmation class this year and last year has been meaningful to me because, finishing with the question. So these are all reflections of things that we've talked about and studied over the course of the year. This is a very smart group. It's a very kind group. It's a group that understands their Jewish identity, that cares. They are the future of the Jewish people. And I have to say, from having run confirmation this year, I'm really optimistic about the future of the Jewish people because of these teens. So with that, I'm going to invite in the class of 5782! Okay, Ben DeBro, would you start us off with an intention or a thought as we move into our prayer for the service? And push that button right there so the red light goes on. There you go.
A question that many people may ask that they don't realize that they ask themselves is, what happens when you pray? Personally, I believe that God will often help you out with your prayer, but it is not his responsibility to solve every problem that you have. You must be willing to do everything in your power to solve your problem yourself before you ask God for help. But if you truly need help from God, he can help you, but he will give you the opportunity to solve your problem yourself before he helps you, or he solves your problem for you. You also need to understand that it's not his responsibility to solve every problem that you have. You need to do some things by yourself without asking God for help. This forces you to exemplify Jewish values such as hard work and perseverance in order to solve any problems that you may have. I'm confident that in the future, God will give me the opportunity to persevere in my times of need. Shabbat Shalom.
Thanks, Ben.
Shabbat Shalom.
So, Janet Ziffer and Wendy Frank, if you two will come up and do our candle lighting right in the front next to Asher. I'm going to ask everyone to rise. We turn to page 120. And we, as Jews, are going to bring in the light like we have been doing in a dark world since the beginning of time as we know it.
Perfect. Go ahead and light each candle. We'll bring in the love and warmth of Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kinishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. And we can be seated. I'm going to ask Avi Frank and Molly Weiss to come on up to the Bema together. So it just so happened that, I guess 3 years ago, guys, right? 3?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Well, we could probably figure this out because these two were B'nai Mitzvah together, Bar and Bat Mitzvah together, whenever they were up here, and now here they are as confirmands. So let's share some thoughts.
Judaism has always been a substantial part of my life, from preschool at Schiff to Davis to now being a Madrik at Sunday school. After 16 years of Jewish education, I have often been confronted with the question of what Judaism means to me, and every time I have found a different answer. I remember being a little kid at Schiff and being filled with joy when I saw the Shabbat dinosaur coming down the hallway. Although I never thought about this question at the time, looking back, I remember Judaism bringing me a lot of joy, and that was the meaning I found in it then. While at Davis, I was engrossed in learning Hebrew and understanding the intricacies of Judaism. At that point, Judaism was a part of my day-to-day, and I found great strength and pride in studying Judaism and forming a strong Jewish identity, and that was the meaning I found in it. Today, while working at the Diamond Family Religious School, I feel the connectedness and strength of my kahila, and that's the meaning I'm currently pulling from Judaism. My belief in God and prayer have definitely ebbed and flowed throughout the years, but the joy, the pride, and the sense of community I felt and I still feel have always been steady and consistent. I think the reason that those things stood out to me is because they are not unique to me, but instead they are commonly felt by every Jewish person, past and present, and that is such a special connection and responsibility to Jewish heritage, which really resonates with me, and I find great meaning in it.
What does the Jewish community mean to me? The Jewish community means a lot to me. The first being a metaphorical home. No matter what I do, I know that I'll always have the Jewish community standing behind me, making their voices heard. The second being a literal home. Even if I go to the other side of the world, I know that when Shabbat comes, there will be an open door welcoming me in for dinner. The strength and togetherness of the Jewish community always gives me a foundation to fall back on if times get tough. In the future, I hope that I can bring the same togetherness the community has brought me to my children and my children's children. I hope that this community can be a stable point for the next generation of Jewish children and that they can find an open door whenever they need it.
Beautiful. So we now rise as a strong Jewish community, getting ready for Shalom Alech on page 142. If you'd like to come and light your own Shabbat candles, come forward and do so now.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidkem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei
invite up Augie Ziffer to share some words as we get ready for Lachado D.
Hi, everyone. Throughout my Jewish education, Sarah has always been my favorite biblical character. She is a strong woman and as equally a powerful leader. Up until she was 90 years old, she was childless, but God performed a miracle and she gave birth to a son who was Isaac. However, she still expresses that she believes it was reasonable to doubt him because she thought it would be impossible at her age to have a child. I love this story because it teaches that you are allowed to have doubts in your religion and that it's okay to ask questions, and more often than not, those religions will allow you to have a deeper connection and understanding with your religion and with yourself. No matter what you believe in, whether it's an all-knowing God or nothing at all, we've all experienced doubts about situations that have turned out okay in the end. I've learned during these times to lean on the others you love and reflect back on these difficulties with new perspectives, just like Sarah did. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Lachado D can be found on page 138.
You can be seated, verses 1 and 9.
Lachado D. Yalla la 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 likrat kala. Yalla la 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 b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Yishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. V'shemo tiferet v'litilah. Yai lai lai, yalla la 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 Lachado D. Yalla la 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 likrat kala. Yalla la 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 b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat mikabela.
We rise and face the door.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala. Gam b'simcha uv'tohora. Tov emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Yai lai lai. Face forward. Yalla la 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 Lachado D. Yalla la 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 likrat kala. Yalla la 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 b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat mikabela.
Ethan Weiss, come on up.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
If the whole world listened to what I had to say for 90 seconds, there's not much that can be said in that amount of time without at least upsetting one person. Plus, not everyone has to listen to what I have to say. They may be subjugated to a minute and a half of my banter, but they maybe couldn't care less about what it actually is. To some, it wouldn't matter if my words were translated or if I were Sir Patrick Stewart himself. To some, it would matter. But in the end, what actually matters most is the few people that choose to listen. I wouldn't care if 99% of the near 8 billion people alive on this planet ignored me. All I would care about is that 1% that did listen. That 1% could go on to make a larger difference than me, because to them, those 90 seconds of words could turn into hours, days, weeks, months, even years of spreading a message far and wide. Soon, that 1% becomes 2%, then 4%, then 8, 16, 32, 64, etc. That's the kind of impact I would want my message to make. And to that 1%, I would say, don't sit down and be complacent with your current state. Let your voice be heard, just as you hear mine. Solve problems in your world your way. Learn to coexist and help others do it as well. Know that not everything can be good all the time. And lastly, know that only you can carry out your desires through actions. You just have the will to do so.
Thank you, Ethan. We are listening. Bar Hu, page 146.
Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
As the sun begins to set on your back inside cover, we have Roll in the Dark.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Yom v'layla, gorelor mipnei choshech, gorelor mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei yom.
Let's hear you. Here we go.
dark. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
Page 152 for the Shema.
Ma Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated. Ari Goldberg, Reese Bashik, come on up.
After being part of confirmation class for many years, I feel very good saying that confirmation class has been thank you. I feel very good saying that confirmation class has been very meaningful to me because it has taught me how to connect to Judaism in real life. For example, the stories that we looked at and analyzed in the Torah to the speeches and the news articles that we read helped teach us the lessons that we never really thought of, and it amazes me everything that I have learned from them in the past few years of being here. Confirmation class has also taught me how we live in society as Jews in America, as it makes us special and unique to other people, such as the holidays that we celebrate and the traditions that we keep. Confirmation class has also been a special place in my heart because it has allowed me to meet many Jews my age and allowed me to form meaningful connections with them. And finally, the most important reason why I love confirmation class so much is that it has allowed me to be a better person to myself and other people around me by teaching me life lessons and skills which everyone in my class became better people. Thank you, confirmation class, for all the memories that you've given to me and to my classmates, and I hope that the next wave of students have the same experiences and learn the same things that I have. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, Reese, you're up.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom.
To me, Judaism is not just a religion. It's not just something that I will teach to my children one day. It's not just about the stories or the lessons I have learned. It's about so much more. Judaism is how I live my life. It is something that is always present in my mind and will always influence the decisions that I make. Throughout history, Jews have been silenced, hated, looked down upon, and persecuted. We have been blamed and we have been bullied. But each time, it is the same force that pushes us to get back up again. This force that all Jews share. This force that drives us to fight for what we believe in and never back down. Never give up hope of what we are as a people, as a community, and as a religion. This is why I am Jewish. This is what Judaism means to me.
Beautiful. Page 154, Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha
והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
I'd like to invite forward at Mac Anderson.
It's one of the most recognized songs at the Passover Seder, Dayenu, It Would Have Been Enough. Every year at Passover Seder, the lyrics take us through the Israelites' escape from Egyptian slavery and their journey through the desert, as we sing about each gift, each miracle that God bestowed and how each alone would have sufficed. For example, Dayenu, it would have been enough had God brought us from Mount Sinai but not given us the Torah. But would it really have been enough if we didn't have our Torah? It contains our narrative, our laws, our ethics. If God had not given us the Torah, Dayenu, would it have been enough? I think the answer is yes. Even without the Torah, it would have been enough. As Jews, we have a responsibility to do, even when we are without. Throughout our more recent history, many of us have too often had to live without our Torah, forbidden from practicing our religion. We lived in exile, often under harsh conditions. Even then, we did when we were without. Think of the conversos who, during the Inquisition, lit Shabbat candles in darkened rooms, hidden from the outside world, or the concentration camp inmates who somehow managed to light the Hanukkah or hold the Seder, or hold a Seder, or of the Soviet Jews who secretly made matzah, a forbidden product, in their homes. But to us, here, today, we are not without Torah. And here and now, we are not without food, and we are not without safety, and we are not without family. This is why the most important part of Dayenu isn't that it would have been enough to have less. The most important part is the implied, and we appreciate that we have enough. Some people carry Dayenu into the present tense, saying, it is enough. Dayenu can serve as a reminder to us all that we do have enough. We should take time and appreciate what we have. To me, the word means to look back and be grateful for all that God has given us. It means contentment, satisfaction, thankfulness, and gratitude. But this comes with a negative as well. As people living in a chaotic and often unpredictable world, many of us believe that it is our duty to make it better, to improve our home for the generation that comes after us. To simplify it, we believe it is our duty to make the world a better place, and that cannot be done by exclusively being content and happy for what we have. We must strive for more, for safer, for kinder, for happier. So I propose we think more about our Dayenu prayer, not just what the words say, it would have been enough, and not just the implied, we're thankful that we have more, but the new call, that we will strive for even better. We will work to take the world from where it is to where it needs to be. Dayenu.
Dayenu. Michamocha, page 158. Michamocha, here we go.
Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'edar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei feleh, nora tehilot osei feleh. Malchutecha ra'u v'necha, חוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
Kayla Massett and Spencer Kahn, if you guys will head to the microphone.
Confirmation class has been meaningful because it has taught me so much and that I knew more than I thought. I made some new friends from being in confirmation. I feel like what it showed me is that it's okay to be yourself. The Jewish community is important to me because it's something to fall back on. It's like you always can relate with each other's problems. There's always someone who is willing to listen to you. You always feel comfortable with them. I've always had a fun time going and listening to Rabbi. He always has some interesting stories and always has inspiring meanings.
Hello. The biblical character who I most identify with is King Solomon. I do not know all his stories from the Torah, but from the one I have read, he is a fair and just ruler. For example, from the story I know, which is probably the most known of his stories, the one with the baby and the two women claiming to be the baby's actual mother. As he is hearing these women tell their story and seeking his judgment, he comes up with a clever solution to find the baby's actual mother in a way that physically harmed none of the three people and would expose the truth. This action shows him to be both fair in not just hearing one woman's story and siding with her, and just by finding a solution that found the truth and gave a solution that was harmful to no one. And that is the type of person I would like to be like and identify with, a leader or just a person who is fair and just. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Hashkivenu, page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim.
If Rachel Deneen and Josh Massive will head to the microphone.
The Jewish community is important to me because it is somewhere I will always be welcome. I can always find support when I need it, and people are always ready to celebrate with me. It's always easy to bond with people in the Jewish community because we share history and experiences, and I don't have to explain everything. In the community, there are a lot of opportunities to learn Jewish history, Hebrew, prayers, and life lessons. Being Jewish is a huge part of my identity, and the Jewish community makes it easy for me to show it. I hope that the Jewish community continues to be kind and supportive and continue to help anyone in need.
Confirmation class has been meaningful to me because it taught me how I can connect the Torah to real life. The stories that are taught help us learn the way to live a Jewish life. The lessons changed, reshaped, and reformed my morals and ways of living in my day-to-day life. It has inspired me to do good for people around me. Confirmation has also allowed me to create a connection with other Jewish teens that I would never have been able to make without attending. Confirmation reveals the secret or hidden meaning in the stories that were taught to me at the surface level. Diving deeper into them has inspired me to try and find the not-so-obvious themes in books, teachings, and even life. I will always look back on confirmation as a pivotal point in my ideals.
Beautiful. Page 162, our blessing for Shabbat, Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asat et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Asher Lubin, head on up.
Confirmation this year and last year has been meaningful to me because of multiple reasons. One reason that sticks out to me the most is the fact that my classmates and I get to share our ideas. Being able to share our true ideas and opinions is essential to our growth. If you are terrible at bowling like me, then you will know what the guardrails are. In the environment we are given, Rabbi Spike acts as our guardrails, and our ideas are the bowling balls. We all work together and roll our ideas at a given question, just as if we were aiming at pins. Hopefully, we hit a strike, but in doing so, we have brainstormed great ideas and conclusions. With these skills that I have developed, I will hopefully get to take off the guardrails as I continue through not only the development of my Judaism, but throughout my life. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We rise for the Amidah, page 164. And when we reach the Gevurot on page 168, it is now summertime, so we will be reading the summer text for the Hebrew. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chastei Avot ve'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei Vneihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid hatal, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
As we enter into silent prayer, there'll be a little bit of shuffling as I invite our confirmation class to descend, and for our high school seniors and your parents to make your way forward. And as that all is happening, please take a moment for yourself. And when you've completed those prayers, I invite you to be seated. So seniors, put your prayer book down, come on up. But like all the way, come on, come on. Rabbi Spike, if you could. Yeah. I love this. What a blessing to have so many of you on the bima. And so I know that we're kind of a floating voice at the moment. I've even lost Rabbi Max. There he is. But he and I wrote a blessing for this class, and it is symbolic that our confirmands are standing watching as we bless a grade just 2 years older. And so you guys know that you'll be here soon, and they have this chance to watch you off as well.
Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu, may the one who blessed our ancestors bless you who are taking the next step in the pursuit of Torah.
The Torah of knowledge, of good character, of kindness, of independence, of health, and of abundant blessing.
On each of your individual paths, may you feel the love of your Jewish community here at Temple Emanu-El and in the new communities that you will create.
May God guard you from bad influences, poor choices, and assignment submissions at the 11th hour.
May God grant you the strength to make mistakes and the wisdom to learn from them.
May God bless you with new opportunities to find your superpower.
May you always know a good friend, at least one healthy recipe, and that your family is just one phone call away. Don't forget to call.
Holy energy of the world, spread a Sukkat Shalom, a shelter of peace over your loved ones, and may it be a shelter of safekeeping, of health, of prosperity, of shalem, wholeness, and of shalom, peace. Say ulmeid, now go forth and learn. I'll ask that the congregation please rise as we offer the threefold benediction. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yahir Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God always watch over you and be kind to you.
Yis Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom. And wherever you go, wherever your next journey takes you. May your feet be strong, may you stand with pride, and may you know the most important gift, the gift of peace. And we say, Amen. Please be seated.
Unless
I'll
take the talit over
your
here.
name is Harrison Ben Postel.
It's a good
and
arm
Lily.
workout for everybody.
Oops, sorry. So Harrison, Lily, and Ben have played a wonderful role in our congregation throughout your childhood and now early adulthood. And there is a scholarship known as the Dick Wilson Scholarship. We take into account a number of factors in selecting those awardees, that there's a committee who blind selects from applications. And it's in honor of Dick Wilson, who wanted for everyone to be able to have education, to learn, and to continue on in their journey. So we are thankful to him of blessed memory and to Hilda Wilson as well. And so receiving those awards this year are the wonderful Harrison Frank, Lily Regals, and Ben Postel. So let's give them all a round of applause. Thanks, guys. This is probably where we were supposed to do Shechianu, right?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
What a joy to reach this moment in time.
It's a logical place to do it because we have so much to be grateful for. We're in the midst of so many good simchas.
Page 648.
Baruch
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'hegianu Lazman hazeh So in the midst of all of this joy, we know that we have friends, we have family, we have fellow congregants in need of healing, in need of strength, in need of support. And as it is our custom to recite the names of our loved ones, of those whom we are thinking of, and even for ourselves, for this Mishaberach Lecholim, this prayer of healing for the sick, we as a congregation are praying for the healing of Pamela Rishfeld, Margie Barenhout, Arthur Gudelman, Doba Elka Bat Gittel, Amy Brownstein, Deborah Gilbert, Charles Kahn, George Fox, David Ben Label, Brett Samsky, Ya'ari Bat Shmuel Verut, Devorah Tamar Bat Yitzchak Leze Visharon Ahuva, Shmuel Ben Devorah, Joel Rish, Meir Ben Rachmiel Vedina, Ashish Sharma, Chavayeta Bat Yehudit, Ken Schiffer, Helen Ray, Kathy Cook, Michelle Lappin, Daniel Bronson, Michelle Levy, Jane Greenberger, Ethel Altman, Flora Cohen, Lev Ben Chaim Vimalka, and Don Baker. If you are praying for the healing of a loved one this Shabbat, I invite you to say their name aloud as my hand passes over the room. Thank you. 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 We join together as a congregation praying for the healing of these and those who are unnamed. We rise together, joining in song and in prayer, page
371.
in the middle.
Misheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless
bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikol habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We remain standing as we turn to page 123 for Kiddush to celebrate Shabbat, to celebrate the end of Pesach with something sweet. If you are not yet bar or bat mitzvah, that means you're under the age of 13. This is your time. I see you all here, and your time to come on up to help join Rabbi Rachel and me and the confirmation class, Rabbi Spike, leading Kiddush. I know that you all know it.
Molly, Lulu.
Yeah, Jack, come on up here. Come on, when you're coming on up.
Ben.
Deegan.
Deegan, you can stand with me if you want.
You can stand up here with us.
Serenity.
Remove this. All right.
All right.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kinishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah lo nikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'vratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Shabbat shalom l'chaim.
L'chaim. And so our friends who have come up for Kiddush, if you'll head to the Ark so that we may open it as we turn to Aleinu L'Shabach on page 586. Go ahead and open. Go ahead. Aleinu L'Shabach Ladon HaKol Latet Gidula Liotzer Breshit Shelo Asanu Kigoye Haratzot Velo Samanu K'mishpachot Adama Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahem V'gor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam V'anachnu Kor'im Umishtachavim umodim Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'ne'emar V'haya Adonai L'melech Al Kol Haaretz Bayom Ahu Yeh Adonai Echad U'shemo Echad.
Okay, close the ark. Everyone, please be seated. Confirmation class, if you'll sit in that first row right in the front. As we're approaching the end of our service this evening, and we Jews towards the end of our service, we say our mourner's Kaddish with the idea that by saying the names of those who we so loved and loved us so much, who are no longer physically with us, that we actually elevate the time. We elevate the time. Religiously, we use the term that they have what's called an aliyat hanefesh, an ascent of soul, because we say their name with a certain kavanah, a certain intention. Whether we believe that or not, certainly there's memory that floods to us when we say their names with the mourner's Kaddish. The congregation sends condolences to the family of Carol Collins and Shiva, the family of Dolores Kleinberg. Shloshim for Selma Shapiro and Dr. Lumila Coven. Yard sites this Shabbat for Craig Alloy, Faye Amato, Michelle Bell, Charles Bach, Glenn Cox, Susan Fox, Cecilia Friedlander, Mary Fruchter, Helen Goldberg, Sheldon Grazier, Alan Hecht, David Keslensky, Helen Klein, Barry Klompus, Debbie Lapidus, Nettie Levy, Irving Mendel, Abraham Mencher, Fannie Miller, Eleanor Miller, Julius Mincer, Matilda Mizrahi, Janet Nadell, Richard Propp, Lawrence Propp, Lila Renbaum, Andrew Ruda, Irving Schneider, Werner Spiegel, David Steinberg, Carol Wassenstein, Niat Watzman, David Weinstock, Louis Weiss, Michael Wilson, Ethel Wise. If you are in the Shloshim period of mourning, the first 30 days after a loved one's passing, I would invite you to rise now, either in the sanctuary or in your home, so that we can recognize you. Please remain standing. If you're in the first year of mourning a loved one's passing, we ask you to rise now so we can recognize you. Please remain standing. If you are commemorating the yard site, the death anniversary of a loved one's passing this Shabbat, please rise so we can recognize you. And if it is your custom to rise in solidarity, or for the 6 million who have no one to say Kaddish for them, we invite you to do so now. I would ask that you take a moment. You can close your eyes if you like. I want you to picture the person that you're saying Kaddish for. Picture them at their best. Healthy and hale, strong, vibrant. Picture their body turning towards you, your gaze meeting theirs. Your eyes lock, and slowly you begin to smile. Eyes flutter open. Page 598. Yitgadal v'yikdash me rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'amad yivrach hirtei ve'amlich machutei. B'chayechon uv'mechon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. B'galav yizman kariv v'imru.
Amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei omayah.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. Vita dar, vita le, vita la, shmei de kudsha, brichu, la ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, damiram b'yama v'imru, amen. Yehi shlam araba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'imru mav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen.
Say shalom, Imroma, Uya'aseh shalom, Aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Say shalom, emaw, u'ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imenu. Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
Mazel tov.
shalom. Confirmation class, come close together around the challah. Hand on the shoulder, hand on the shoulder, touching our challah. Baruch
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shalom.